the vision stops, because that's all I can see for right now. I have no other aspirations other than to date. Not that there's anything wrong with living behind a gate, but people who live in this city, they want relief, they want opportunity, they want to.
That Northeast Area Command has seen during the evening hours is that individuals are going over there.
We are last in the nation for a lot of things, and because of that, we're creating an environment where lots of crime is able to happen, including trafficking.
Time doesn't necessarily take away the pain, but sometimes we can just learn to manage it a little bit better.
Her sister, Nisha Tonks, one of the victims of the worst mass shooting in U.S. history, the Route 91 Music Festival, October 1st, 2017.
We have the first and only certified simulation center in the entire state of Nevada.
(911) emergency, Barnson 18400. Do you need police, fire, or medical?
It's a calm and reassuring voice when seconds matter.
Which way did they go?
911 operators with Metro Police handling close to 8,500 calls a day. But now it's their office asking for help.
But I'll be honest with you, without sugarcoating it, this is a very difficult position.
Communications Manager Catalina Latorre.
This is unlike anything you've done before. It could be somebody's worst day, it could be somebody's best day.
The department is in the middle of a recruiting push, advertising for dispatchers on the site of Allegiant Stadium and using social media to reach out to would-be applicants.
And where we don't test for physical strength, we absolutely test for mental strength.
And just how serious is the shortage? Here's what Sheriff Kevin McMahill said during his recent State of the Department address.
Our dispatch center. I'm about 50% down in my staffing at dispatch when he took over. I went down to dispatch very first night. Sometimes 2-hour call waits to get through on 311.
The office is split into two areas. On one side, call takers are talking to the public, gathering information.
And what color shirt and pants were they wearing?
On the other, dispatchers send officers to the appropriate address. And during critical incidents, calls pour in by the dozens.
There's a girl right now, she's getting stabbed right here on the strip in front of the room. This guy is walking down the street and he's stabbing people.
Including during a strip stabbing rampage in October. 2 people killed, 6 others injured. While during one October, hundreds of calls were made stretching over several hours. If needed, employees are given access to therapy and counseling to work through what they've heard.
These guys can only do the best they can when they're armed with some support themselves. So we really try to do that, and we institute that in the academy. As soon as they walk in the door, we really believe in transparency, is telling recruits and potential applicants what it is they're walking into, and we tell them, this is unlike anything you've done before.
Still, Latorre says the rewards are tremendous. That human link on the other end of the phone.
Can you ask them if they remember anything else about that man? Did he have hair, a hat? What color pants?
I'll ask.
Working as a team to get help where it's needed.
There's not a lot of careers that you can go home at night and say, I made a difference in someone's life.
The song is called 58 Angels.
Lighten up the field like the 4th of July, with neon and lead raining overhead.
The soundtrack of an emotional day for those gathered at the small downtown garden, including Minda Smith.
Time doesn't necessarily take away the pain, but sometimes we can just learn to manage it a little bit better.
Her sister, Nisha Tonks, one of the victims of the worst mass shooting in U.S. history, the Route 91 Music Festival, October 1st, 2017.
In some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. It seems like at times it was just the other day, and we're still having struggles that, you just think that after 5 years you shouldn't, but It is a roller coaster of emotions.
One, go.
Thursday morning, a sculpture representing strength and healing was unveiled, dedicated to the memories of those lost.
Our 58 are the ones that brought us together.
The artists, Sue Ann Cornwell and Alicia Murky, both survivors themselves.
Celebrate the family that Route 91 survivors has become, because without each other, we would all still be hiding in our bedrooms.
Not only did we design it, we actually got to physically cut those pieces of grass and bend them and be a hands-on part of the sculpture, which was very important to us.
And important to those in the audience, the monarch butterfly symbolizing a guardian angel, hitting close to Smith's heart.
My parents are huge believers in the butterflies, and you know, my dad always says that butterflies follow him.
58 candles, 58 flames.
A sculpture and a coming together 5 years later, proving once again that even in our darkest hour, love wins.
Are on their way.
It's true, there's a huge economic impact expected from these events. Formula One here on the Strip, the Super Bowl. But there's also cause for concern from domestic violence and sexual assault groups here in Nevada, saying there's a not so glamorous side. They want to use this as a chance to raise awareness, increase their support, and educate the public with these events.
So there are a number of correlating factors with major sporting events that relate to domestic violence.
Vegas being a place that's known for excess, we do worry about that.
Two major ones are alcohol use and gambling.
Formula One, the Super Bowl, and everything in between. Vegas is the entertainment and, now by some accounts, the sports capital of the world. But it's also a large hub for domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking.
Alcohol does not cause domestic violence. People who are abusive regardless of alcohol. Alcohol just exacerbates that violence and acts as justification.
Flory says the same goes for gambling. And with record-breaking crowds expected for these events, domestic violence groups throughout Nevada are calling for more resources.
When you listen to our members, they are saying day in and day out that they are stretched thin, that their advocates are working tirelessly, that their caseloads are overburdened.
In early October, domestic violence groups held a roundtable with Governor Steve Sisolak. Now that he's leaving office, they hope their requests don't go unheeded by incoming Governor-elect Joe Lombardo.
What we've noticed on our website is that on these long weekends that are traditionally known for heavy drinking and partying, such as 4th of July and Memorial Day weekend, is that people are going on Mondays to our Get Help page.
And then there's sex work and human trafficking. Advocacy groups do not expect an increase in trafficking at events like the Super Bowl, but they do see it as an opportunity to highlight how these industries continue needing support and a change in laws.
I think that people aren't comfortable with sex. We don't even have comprehensive sex ed in our schools.
Saying they're worried women taking part in consensual sex work will be arrested at these major events while missing the root causes of these issues, like low wages and education.
But I think we are last in the nation for a lot of things. And because of that, we're creating an environment where lots of crime is able to happen, including trafficking.
Bottom line, these women, these groups say yes, there is some concern with these upcoming big sporting events, but that the issues are always prevalent here in Nevada. And if you truly want to help victim survivors, that starts with things like education, with legislation, and increasing their resources and support. And if you are a victim yourself, you do not need to feel trapped, they say. There are plenty of resources for tourists and locals alike, and we'll have those on our website, news3lv.com. Reporting in Las Vegas, I'm Brett Forrest.
Yeah, I almost passed out walking up over here. I had to walk to the store and get something to drink. Everybody hot, not everybody got money to get something to drink though.
If you were passing by on Wednesday afternoon, you may have seen dozens of Mojave High School students sweating outside in the heat. nothing I've ever experienced before, especially for being a senior.
While they stood under the sun in triple-digit heat, they watched Clark County School District buses passing by. Many of them were using those buses every day until they were told they'd have to use public transportation paid for by the district, saying they were told it had to do with the bus driver shortage.
You see all these students, kids out here, we all hot. Like, we trying to get home. We all live on the same street. Like, why can't we get a school bus too?
This was only part of the experience home. I wanted to see that journey for myself, so I joined senior Levon Foxworth and his friends on the route after school. We started off on 5th and Washburn, and I saw what the students warned me about. My phone showed 109 degrees with an excessive heat warning, students wiping their faces off with towels, others with large drinks trying to cool off. After 35 minutes, we made it here at the RTC stop at Craig and North 5th, where we waited and waited.
My weather app has been showing it's about 110 degrees outside. There is one girl who is, everyone is pouring water and ice on her because she looks like she's near passing out. And they said that this actually happened, something similar happened last week as well.
There was a friend of mine. She was hyperventilating. She's already hot. She's crying, exhausted. She's like, her face is getting all red. We had to get water for her, ice.
The bus taking longer than the app said it would, but finally after 45 minutes, it came, and everyone ran to get a spot. Some didn't make it on. This was the scene inside, students and the public together. Worried that if they waited for the next bus, they wouldn't be able to handle any more sun and heat outside.
It's a very dangerous situation for everybody. You see there's kids sitting on the floor, there's kids sitting next to the door where it opens and closes.
After 30 minutes, Levon, his friend, and I finally got off the bus. The next walk, 10 minutes to his house, where we were welcomed by air conditioning and a deeply worried mother. A 2-hour journey home.
You have parents who are working full-time, like someone like myself who has to be at work at 6 in the morning. You know, I shouldn't have a concern when my son is going to a public school about him having public transportation. It's definitely not fair. You can see what's going on. I mean, we live in a pretty predominant area where there's brown kids, black kids, you know, kids of color in this area.
We learned the problems run even deeper. School starts earlier this year at 7 a.m. Levon and his friends want the district to know of their sacrifices.
Waking up for school, terrible. I have to wake up around like 4 o'clock, 4:30, and then make myself breakfast and then leave the house around like 5 o'clock.
Fortunately, I do get off of work at 12 a.m. in the morning. I'm saying that I gotta take the bus in the morning. I'm tired, I'm sleeping first period, second period.
And they say they're often not even making it to class on time.
I haven't been to school on time at all this year. I have at least 10 tardies already.
Tardies, they say, sometimes are not excused.
It's my first period, I had math, and I'm almost late to that class almost every single morning. That's an important class for me. So I had to switch that out.
Because you needed to graduate.
Yeah, I need to graduate, yeah.
And while he deals with all the stresses outside of schoolwork, Levon and other students are demanding the district get students back on a regular school bus.
Get us a bus. Get us a bus. Get us a bus. Get us a bus.